Have you ever wondered what you'd do if you knew the world was ending? What if you had an exact date? For millions of people, that date was December 21st, 2012. It was a day etched into the global consciousness. A deadline set by an ancient civilization, promising either total annihilation or a profound transformation. But how did this idea, this single date, capture the imagination of the entire planet? Let us rewind the clock and explore the story behind the year the world was supposed to end. Our story begins not in the modern era, but deep in the jungles of Mesoamerica, with one of history's most brilliant and enigmatic civilizations, the Maya. The Maya were more than just pyramid builders. They were master astronomers and mathematicians. They charted the stars with breathtaking precision. And from their celestial observations, they created one of the most complex calendar systems ever devised. It wasn't just one calendar, but a series of interlocking cycles, like cosmic gears turning in perfect harmony. There was the Tosolkin, a 260-day sacred calendar, and the Hob, a 365-day solar calendar. Together, they formed the calendar round, which repeated every 52 years. But the Maya thought on a much grander scale. They created the long count calendar, a system designed to track vast stretches of time, far beyond a single human lifespan. This calendar started in what we calculate as August 11th, 3114 BCE, and it moved in cycles. The largest of these cycles, the 13th Berkton, was set to conclude on a very specific date, December 21st, 2012. For the Maya, the end of a cycle wasn't necessarily a catastrophe. It was a moment of transition, a cosmic reset button, much like how we celebrate the new year on December 31st. But when modern interpreters stumbled upon this ancient endpoint, they saw something different. They saw a prophecy. The idea that the Maya had predicted the literal end of the world began to circulate, moving from obscure academic papers to the fringes of popular culture. The calendar didn't say what would happen asterisk after asterisk that date. To some, this silence was deafening. It meant their asterisk was asterisk no after. By the early 2000s, this idea had exploded. The internet was buzzing with theories, and Hollywood was quick to cash in. Books flew off the shelves, documentaries filled the airwaves, and soon, everyone was talking about 2012. The narrative began to splinter into dozens of different doomsday scenarios, each more terrifying than the last. The ancient Mayan prophecy became a magnet for every end-of-the-world theory imaginable. One of the most popular theories involved a mythical rogue planet named Nibiru, or Planet X. According to believers, this massive celestial body was hurtling through space on a collision course with Earth, hidden from our telescopes until it was too late. Its gravitational pull would supposedly trigger mega tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and earthquakes that would tear our world apart. Scientists repeatedly and emphatically stated that Nibiru did not exist, but that didn't stop the theory from gaining a massive following. It was a dramatic, cinematic end, and people were captivated. Then, there were the cosmic threats. Some warned of unprecedented solar flares, giant eruptions from the sun that would send a wave of electromagnetic energy to Earth, frying our power grids and sending civilization back to the Stone Age. Others spoke of the Earth's magnetic poles suddenly and violently shifting, causing catastrophic geological instability. A few even pointed to the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy, suggesting some kind of galactic alignment would occur on that day, with unknown but surely terrible consequences. Each theory was backed by a mix of misinterpreted science, ancient texts taken out of context, and a healthy dose of pure speculation. The 2012 phenomenon became a perfect storm of ancient mystery and modern anxiety. It fed on our deepest fears about our own fragility and our place in a vast, and sometimes scary, universe. The story was just too good to ignore. As December 21st, 2012, drew closer, the global mood shifted from fascination to genuine anxiety for some. The line between entertainment and reality began to blur. News outlets around the world started reporting on the real-world preparations people were making. There were stories of individuals and families in the United States, Russia, and China, who were spending their life savings to build elaborate underground bunkers. They stocked them with canned goods, water purifiers, and survival gear, ready to ride out the apocalypse in subterranean comfort. Others looked for salvation in high places. A village in the French Pyrenees, Bugaroc, became an unlikely epicenter of hope. A rumor had spread that the mountain overlooking the village was a sacred alien garage, and that on doomsday, a UFO would emerge and rescue anyone nearby. The small village was soon overrun with spiritual seekers, media, and curious onlookers, forcing local authorities to block access to the mountain to prevent a chaotic pilgrimage. Meanwhile, in Turkey, the village of Sirens, once a quiet, picturesque town, was marketed as a place with positive energy that would protect it from the cataclysm. Hotels were booked solid as thousands flocked there, hoping its special aura would shield them. The global phenomenon had created its own strange economy of survival and spirituality. For every person who scoffed at the idea, there was another who quietly wondered, but what if they're right? The world held its breath, caught in a collective moment of suspense. Then, the day arrived. December 21, 2012. In the time zones of the Pacific Islands, the sun rose. Then it rose over Australia, Asia, Europe, and Africa. Morning news reports were almost comically anticlimactic. Reporters stood in front of ancient Mayan ruins in Mexico and Guatemala, reporting that, well, nothing was happening. The sun was shining. Birds were singing. Tourists were taking pictures. There were no rogue planets, no devastating solar flares, no polar shifts. As the Earth continued its rotation, the day passed, just like any other in the Americas. People woke up, went to work, and went about their lives. The internet, which had been the source of so much panic, became a source of global relief and humor. Memes flooded social media, joking about surviving the apocalypse. "I survived the Mayan apocalypse" t-shirts became instant bestsellers. By the time December 22nd dawned, it was all over. The world hadn't ended. Life, in all its mundane and beautiful normality, continued. So, was it all just a massive global misunderstanding? In a way, yes. Modern Mayan communities and scholars tried to explain that the end of the 13th Bergton was never meant to be interpreted as the end of the world. For them, it was a time for celebration and reflection, a milestone marking the beginning of a new era, not the end of time itself. They held ceremonies to mark the occasion, honoring their ancestors and looking forward to the next great cycle. The prophecy of doom was a story we told ourselves, not one the Maya told us. But if it wasn't the end, perhaps it was a new beginning in a different sense. Many philosophers and thinkers suggest that the 2012 phenomenon wasn't really about the Maya or astronomy at all. It was about us. It was a symbolic event, a focal point for our collective anxieties about the future, about climate change, political instability, and our own mortality. In a world that often feels chaotic and meaningless, the idea of a single definitive event, even a catastrophic one, can feel strangely comforting. It provides a narrative, a sense of order. The story of 2012 is a powerful reflection of the human condition. It reveals our deep-seated fears of the unknown, but also our incredible capacity for hope and our unending search for meaning. We look to the stars, to ancient calendars, and to prophecies, all in an effort to understand our place in the cosmos and the grand timeline of history. Maybe the prophecy wasn't about the end of the world, but about a shift in consciousness, a moment that forced us to look at our world and our future with fresh eyes. The 2012 apocalypse never came, but the story it created will be told for generations. It serves as a fascinating chapter in human history, a reminder that we are storytelling creatures, constantly weaving tales to make sense of the universe and our brief, precious time within it. The mystery wasn't in the stars. It was within ourselves all along. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey back in time. What were you doing on December 21st, 2012? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into modern myths, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that explore the fascinating corners of our world. See you next time.